Welcome everyone to another broadcast of Southern Virginia Athletics from the from the Knight Sports Arena, not Stoddard, Knight Sports Arena here on the campus of Southern Virginia University. We get ready for tip-off of the first game of our doubleheader, the women's basketball team hosting the Frostburg State Bobcats. Mike, a very important game for both the men's and women's team today. Both of these teams, the Knights able to take down at Frostburg. They'd love to do the same thing to them here at home.
Yeah, the women were able to come away with a 2-point win. The men had a little bit of a tough game, but again, they're back in the friendly confines of the barn, so it'd be great to see them pick up that 8th conference win. The Lady Knights coming off a 2-game winning streak, hopefully to make it 3. In order to get to the conference tournament, though, it's going to be a Herculean effort because they'll have to go through Salisbury, York, and not St. Mary's, but Mary Washington. A
very difficult stretch for them. This the easiest one they're going to have for a little while, so you'd like to see them build some momentum off of that. And also, as you mentioned with the men's team, could get in a 3-way tie for 4th right now. Would love to clinch a berth into the postseason. It's interesting. Things are so close right now. Mathematically, they could still finish 2nd, and they could still finish 10th.
Yes.
With just a few games left. So
parity in the men's game. Only Christopher Newport has separated themselves.
Yeah.
On the women's side, the top 5 seeds are already set. Or top 4 seeds are already set. The 5th one almost set with Salisbury. If they win tonight, they're set. So it's all about that 6th place.
So it's where we go from here. The Knights, the lineups just coming in for both teams. We'll start off with the starters for Frostburg State. They start number 2, Bryce Papp. Number 14, Carrie Hudson. Number 21, Kirsten Rayner. Number 25, Cachet Fields. And number 40, Courtney Young. Mike, who do you have for the Knights?
Knights will be starting a familiar lineup of number 20, Jamila Gamby. Number 22, Morgan Hartwigson. Number 23, Autumn Kramer. Number 31, Larissa McFarland. And number 41, Shelby Windsor.
We're looking at some stats before the game, and also Jamila Gamby's Twitter feed declaring proudly that she's got the most steals, tied for the most steals in conference. She's got a couple of turnovers as well, which she referenced there as well. But she's definitely a force on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see if she's able to do the same tonight.
Well, over the last 2 games, the Knights have been hot from behind the 3-point line. 17 of 34, a 50% clip, and leading the way has been Hartwigson and Willette. The Knights have also kind of abandoned the pressing style and gone to a more conventional 2-3 zone and then bringing the ball up, not trying to turn it over as much.
Yep, that's going to be a travel. Good call by the referee on that one. Looked like she was driving to go up with it and then changed her mind, which you can't really do.
Yeah, that's one thing. It's fine to change your mind when you're driving in a car, but not when you're driving the lane.
There you go. Yeah, a very different style, as you mentioned, Mike, the Knights are coming out with. And I got to say, we've been saying all season, a heavy dose of Hartwigson from 3 would do the Knights a lot of good. Strong move that time, but no good by Windsor. And the press as well has been causing issues at time. The first bucket coming out the other way, and the Bobcats strike first.
Yeah, Rayner was able to put that down, and again, the Knights kind of half-hearted in that press, not really committing to it.
Oh, and that one just slipped out of the hand, it looked like, of McFarland.
And in their non-conference game last week, or on Monday, McFarland leading scorer with 22 points.
And we are back in the press by the looks of things. And those backdoor cuts have been really hurting the Knights all season long. It's been the danger of that press is if you can get out ahead of it, you can really do a lot of damage. Shot no good.
And we're looking at the players out there for Frostburg. They were down 3 players today, and they all look like guards out there. And so pressing the Bobcats might not be the best idea.
Yeah, another travel. One other thing we noted in pregame, Mike, the Bobcats only dressing 8 players.
Yes.
They've got some injuries that plagued them. You were mentioning the later into the season you go, that's something you have to roll with. But when you have a short roster to begin with, 8 bodies is not a lot. So driving the lane, getting pressure, and hopefully getting some people in foul trouble could be particularly helpful in this game. Great defense that time by McFarland not to commit the foul. Looked like she actually received a little bit of a push. Oh, good skip pass. Gamby. What a smart feed that time, just touching off to McFarland, her teammate. She really has the ability to create baskets for other people.
A little ill-advised shot from Fields there, but great for the Knights.
Gamby with the scoop shot. You may say there was a little bit of luck in that, but I actually saw her hit 2 almost identically in practice, or in pregame. And that's going to be a foul on Gamby. Speaking of statistics, that's another area she shines.
Right?
I don't know. I don't think she's number 1. We could look it up, but she's up there. She's up there. She's an aggressive defender.
Yeah, and we don't like to see her commit fouls this early in the game because that puts them a little bit behind the 8 ball because she hasn't really has a game where she can scale back that aggressiveness.
Yep, you can contribute more on the court than off.
Oh, and
the arm bar. They're calling Pap for the push-off. The arm extension, so it looked in the first minute or so like they were going to kind of let them play a little bit, but now the referee's reining it back in a little bit. And you have to imagine, based on nothing else, the length of the roster, that favors the Knights.
Yeah, anytime you can get into the bench of a short bench, there's some problems.
Great look by Gamby that time. Again, finds Windsor, and that's going to send Windsor to the foul line. I believe that was on Fields. First free throw by Windsor is good.
And it's great to see her get to the free throw line to get that stroke going. We noticed that there's several times that she starts slow for the Knights here in the barn. Maybe a little bit of extra pressure of having friends and family around watching, and on the road she starts off much faster.
And Gamby trapping in the corner, and they're saying it's going to stay with the Bobcats, but there's that pressure again. And that's kind of what goes along with the steals and the turnovers. You just never know. This time, Wilcox comes up with it off of the tip by Hartvigsen.
Well, and the Bobcats are playing right into the Knights' hand there by keeping everybody in the backcourt.
Oh, yeah.
Not extending the pressure at all.
Good look to Windsor. She puts a quick spin move on it, and the Knights are up 8-4. The lob ahead, Hartvigsen in defense. And they will assess the foul on her. A little bit of a bump as she was kind of pulling back.
Yeah, you can be moving backwards, but you have to have that position established before you start moving either laterally or backwards.
Mm-hmm. It's got to be. I mean, even as a commentator, it's difficult for me to understand exactly where that line is. I mean, I've read the rule, I've heard the rule, I've heard people explain the rule, but it's
very subjective, isn't it?
It is. Knowing exactly where that is very, very difficult. And if that's the case for me, I can only imagine as a player it's got to be even more so. Hartvigsen brings the ball up. That's really working it around well to Windsor to Gamby. Just strong on the baseline. Coming up court quickly. Oh, a very high dribble. Down the line and blocked by Wilcox. Wilcox seems to have an inordinate number of blocks for her height. Is that just me?
Very good timing. On the other end, number 25 Field is being attended by one of the athletic trainers, so that makes a short bench for the Bobcats even shorter now.
That's down to 7. 3 is well wide, and it's going the way of Southern Virginia. Yeah, if you're playing in a game where you have 2 subs, that's a difficult situation.
Very difficult situation. Especially if you don't have any dominant post presence. If you have a dominant post presence and can walk the ball up and take some time off the clock, then playing with 7 or 8 is no big deal. But boy, when you don't have somebody that can just have beat on down there in the paint, it's a long game.
5 seconds to shoot. Gamby to Windsor. Good defense for 27 seconds, and then it fell apart at the end. Windsor with a good look at the basket. Great job by the Knights to stay with it. And now the Bobcats out ahead. And no good. The putback no good. Third attempt finally goes in. That one for Courtney Young.
And if the Knights are going to be able to get back on defense and make them shoot over you 2 or 3 times, they're going to have to try to get the body on them to box them out. Don't let them get extra shots.
Courtney Young having a good series at this point with the miss, the rebound, the putback, and then the block down at this end. The Knights tapping into that resource of a strong bench. Kramer coming in for Windsor. And the Knights should be running, I think, at this point. If you can, if nothing else, you try to gas the Bobcats since they don't have the subs. And that's timeline, I thought maybe. Lobbed across the middle. Pull up, no good. Hartvigsen with the rebound.
Well, the Knights did play on Monday night, so they may be thinking that they're going 1,000 miles an hour, and it just looks a little bit slower to us.
Yeah. Gamby with the basket at the other end. She's already got 4 points. Again, generally known for her defense rather than her offense, but contributing both ways tonight. And a block. The look on Larissa McFarland's face with that call. Ooh. You know, considering that, budgetary constraints being what they are, she may want to see if Coach Dupay wants her as a tackling dummy next season. Get some dual-purpose work out of her. Free throw good.
Fields comes back in, so everything must be okay with her.
Must be. That's Tirado Vescala at the line. Very unorthodox shot. Makes 1 of 2. Windsor back to the scorer's table. Gamby. Good shot fake by Kramer. Steps through. And too strong. Deflected by Gamby, though. Hartvigsen to save the possession, but only for the moment. And now we're playing hot potato. Ooh, rolled around in and out. Good box out, but too late. And Kirsten Rayner with the basket. She's got 6.
And Fields with no rotation on that shot, so that's going to be affected by all kinds of air currents that we have here in the barn.
Knights again, ball movement, but that one miscommunication as to who it's going to. And a foul. Foul on that one. That's going to go against Hartvigsen. Her second.
Wrong place, right time for the Bobcats.
Yeah, okay. Seemed to be a bit of a fumble on the play prior to that, but you know. At least it's not shooting. Gotta get it in. And finally they do. Some range as well on Courtney Young as she makes a shot just inside the three-point line, and the Bobcats back in the lead. I believe they led 4-0, 4-2. And that's the last time. Frostburg really flying around on defense. Windsor really getting bodied up a lot down low. They've seen her get 6 points early in this game and have decided to collapse on that. Gamby with the steal and gives it right back, which explains why she's both ahead in turnovers and steals. And fighting all over the place.
An unfortunate foul against Shelby.
And slow to get up on this one is Tirado Vescala. They kind of got rolled up on each other. Kind of got rolled up. She's kind of favoring that right leg. Kind of grabbed the left knee for a little bit. And is going to step to the free throw line anyway.
Well, if she were to come out, then Coach Roberts would be able to pick who gets to shoot the free throws instead of having Frostburg State pick who shoots the free throws.
Lane violation anyway. Yeah, not a, as you said, unorthodox shot anyway, to be standing on the line and still very short. So you add an unorthodox shot to an injured knee.
Yeah, you're going to come up a little bit shorter.
Yeah, there may not have been a better choice for Coach Roberts to pick in that situation. But connects on 1 or 2. And substitutions come in. McFarland and Amber Downey will be in for Frostburg State. And 12-14. The Knights still trailing. Meredith Willette bring it up for the Knights. Windsor, strong move. And welcome to the game, Amber Downey. You've now got your first foul.
You're in the book.
Windsor with a chance to make it a three-point play and take the lead, and does so. And the Knights back in that press. It's kind of cut both ways for them all season, but I think it's cut a little more in their favor today than we've seen throughout most of the season. Pull up, no good. Windsor with the rebound. Gamby and throwing ahead off the hands of McFarland, who saves it back in, but to the Bobcats. Good hedge that time. Windsor preventing the fast break, but it's still going to be numbers for the Bobcats. Baseline jumper, no on the roll.
Great box out by Willette there.
Yeah. Willette, nice behind the back dribble. Shot is long that time by Kramer. And the Knights have a whole bunch of bodies back on the other side of the line, which puts poor Kramer 3-on-1. But a couple of missed shots, and Kramer comes up with it anyway. Gamby calling for it, but too late getting there. Willette tried to play quarterback and throw the deep ball, but you've either got to do that very quickly or be wise enough to pull it back.
Yeah, and if you're going to throw a deep ball, it can only go to one of two places, to your player or out of bounds. Oh, and all the way to the basket. No defense whatsoever. Yeah. And in a zone, you can't allow that to happen.
The defense was there and then stepped out of Fields' way at the last minute and just opened the door for her. Oh, good look that time. The Knights have scored a lot of points on that right side of the basket, Mike. McFarland, the benefactor this time, but speaking of leaving doors open, that's been open all game long. And swarming bodies, not enough to keep Frostburg out of the basket that time. Kirsten Rayner leading the way for the Bobcats now with 8. Both teams really just hammering that bottom corner of the key. Speak of. In and out. Windsor. In and out again.
Oh, and another foul on Windsor.
That's a long way from the basket.
52 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, she was, I don't know that was a great foul.
I would say not. But that's just our opinions.
It's true. It does mean we've gone 9 minutes in this game before either team getting in the bonus, which is have been a rarity this season. But that probably cuts the way of the Bobcats based on their short roster. That also will bring Kimberly Eads in to relieve Windsor with those 2 fouls as Cachet Fields makes the first. And the second as well. The Bobcats extending their lead now to 3. Fast pass inside there, too hot to handle. Willette working it around. And looked like a Kimberly Eads just unable to get to that one. Looked like maybe a little push in the back.
Yeah, that's a very hard pass, though. A straight in pass when you're online.
To someone that just came in the game as well. Great quick ball movement by the Bobcats, but the last leg of it no good. And
again, unforced turnovers are the...
Fields is looking for him every time. Great steal that time by Wilcox. Takes it all the way and misses the layup. But yeah, Fields is sitting back there playing safety, playing center field, just watching for him. And they are being handed to her. And with that, the time's going to run out. Pretty darn good shot for Wilcox.
Online, just a little short.
Yeah, considering the time and the distance she had to go. 17-20 now, though, at the end of the first quarter. We've seen all season, though, Mike, the Knights women's team tends to start off slow and then gain steam over 4 quarters. We've said more than once about how by the end of the game they just weren't able to accelerate fast enough and make up for a slow first quarter. Down by 3, obviously not ideal, especially at home, but they've had worse starts where they've pulled out wins.
Yeah, had worse starts, but after the last 2 games, especially the Penn State-Harrisburg game where they were able to go up to Harrisburg and win there, playing the zone, controlling the ball, making sure they're getting the shots they want, and that time it was the 3-point shots. But we see the Bobcats have no answer for the Knights inside. I don't know why you wouldn't just slow down a little bit, offensively and defensively, and hammer the inside. The Bobcats really don't have a scoring threat against you, so just play defense, keep them in front of you, box out, and you could easily have a double-digit lead by halftime.
Yeah, it's all a matter of willingness to adapt strategy to your opponent, and I think that's kind of the name of the game right now. As you mentioned, if it's the kind of thing where you can do whatever you want offensively. I mean, because I don't think the Knights are really struggling offensively. It's just that transition getting back it's really been difficult, or the
lack of defensive transition is what's getting them. You're absolutely right, and again, it's adapting to the situation at the time. We look at all these Division I programs and they have a certain set style. Well, that's because they can go out and recruit that certain set athlete and pay for their college. On a Division III level, you get certain type of athletes and they may not exactly fit your style. You have to adapt.
Good fake by Kramer, looking inside. And off to the races again. Gamby gets out in front of it, comes up with the steal, and it's going the way of the Knights. If you're looking for a hustle play, Mike,
there you go.
That's where you go. And while the Knights weren't able to convert on that first offensive possession, great stop at the other end to give them another bite at the apple.
Oh, and Eads was wide open. Anytime you can see your post players' numbers, you need to get them the ball.
Pocket picked, and a hustle play by McFarland to get back, but I think just frustrated by the steal and compounds it with a foul at the other end. Basket is good, and the free throw attempt to go with it for Rayner.
And Rayner is their leading scorer, averaging only about 13 or 14 points a game. Already
she's got 10 now.
Yeah, less than 11 minutes into the game, and she's at 10.
Make it 11. Half of the points for the Bobcats coming from that young lady. The Knights have been at 17 for quite a while. They've got to find some way to start greasing the wheels of this offense. And a missed 3 without a rebound is not going to do it.
Well, and your big horse is sitting over on the bench in
in Windsor.
In Windsor, not being able to be out on the floor with 2 fouls.
And a push that time. We're going to call the block. That's very handy, that foul going on Young, who has, as you mentioned, Rayner the leading scorer, but Young a big post presence for them.
The only post presence for them. So if they can get her in foul trouble, then the Knights can really go inside at will.
Absolutely. Great job by Kramer hanging on to that one. Around the horn, back up top. Shot goes wide, gathered by Gamby. And Eads comes up with that one after a little bit of a pinball game. Kramer to reset with 20 seconds left to shoot. Eads fighting for position, gets it. And a high kiss off the glass. She's got her first points of the game.
Well, the Knights should be able to go inside anytime they want. They just are taller and stronger than the Bobcats right now. But when the Knights allow inside penetration and then fouls, that just negates any type of advantage that they should have.
Eads called for that foul. That's going to send Carrie Hudson to the line, who's yet to be booked. And now has her first point of the game. And a timeout called by Coach Roberts.
Oh, and a big gamble here, bringing back both Harvickson and Windsor.
Both with 2 fouls apiece, with 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. So I have to imagine the idea is she's recognized their offense is stifled and they've got to start getting some points back on the board. It doesn't help to have players there at the end if you're not in the contest.
Yeah, she must be feeling that the momentum is slipping away and the game's slipping away from her here early in the second quarter, and taking the risk to put those back in far outweighs the consequences of saving them for the second half if you're too far behind.
Yeah, interesting to see. It also doesn't help if you're in the game but you're out of players. So it's that dangerous, delicate line to walk, I suppose. Second free throw attempt coming up for Hudson. And it's good. Willett now looking to respond. 6 points, the largest lead certainly for the Bobcats. I believe it's the largest of the game for either team. Knights having a difficult time finding penetration. Skip over to Hartvigsson. No good. Huge rebound. It's going to be tipped out of bounds and going the way of Frostburg State.
And that's a tough shot to come in off the bench. You've been sitting there for over 5 minutes game time.
Yep.
More like 10 minutes regular time.
Yeah, as the shot clock is winding down.
Oh, and that's over and back. She didn't establish position.
In the front court, you're right.
And anytime you pick the ball up against the pressing team in the coffin corners, bad things always happen for the offensive team.
That's probably why they call it the coffin corner.
That's right. You are dead.
And there's a foul going against Hudson. So now she's in the book 2 ways. Still, the Bobcats doing a really good job of juggling aggro with 1 foul apiece across 5 different players.
And they haven't played any type of zone yet. It's all man-to-man. Which, again, the Knights should be able to take advantage of on a little high-low situation.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Windsor.
the third foul on Windsor with the moving screen.
That call has been a pain for the Knights all season long.
Well, not just for the Knights, but any team that you watch this year, the majority of fouls come on those moving screens because every coach wants to run a pick and roll.
Yeah, well, and to be honest, I think Windsor's had 2 or 3 that could have been called this game, and that's the first one. So I'm not going to fault the referees this time. I think it was a good call. They actually kind of let her go with some earlier. Out front to Gamby, who crosses the lane. Difficult shot. No good. Tip to Willett. Got it. Basket is good for Meredith Willett. Her first of the game.
Oh, and that's 2 on Courtney Young now.
Yeah, very quickly there. So we may end up 5 guards on 5 guards here, Mike. The difference, of course, being the Knights have Eads, they have Kramer, they have some folks that can play down low. I mean, heck, if they've got Siegmiller, they've got Durant. If it comes to it, they've got a lot more options.
Well, and you got McFarland, who has the mentality of a post player, but likes to go in and play in the post.
Yeah.
And we've seen her step out and shoot threes.
That one waved off. I did not hear why. And that one will stay with the Bobcats. Barely across it. Referee acknowledged he might be wrong. I like that. I really like that.
Well, sometimes they say that just to placate a player or a coach,
Well,
saying, hey,
no,
I might have
still.
missed that one.
3 is wide on that. And it's going the other. I really like that, though.
I've had a lot of referees tell me, I probably missed that one. And I'm like, You missed that one for the last 5 minutes. What's going on?
Well, it's new to me. 21-25. The Knights with a chance to cut it to a single possession. And just wide that time. And now the run out.
Yeah, the defensive transition. Something the Knights just haven't been able to capture this whole season.
Yeah, Rayner is making a living at midcourt, just waiting for the miss and the lob out. Which is
she's not even waiting for the miss. The shot goes up and she's taking off. And that's a old school playground trick. That's just a flyer that you're telling the rest of your teammates, I think you're going to get the rebound. They're not.
Yep. The old cherry pick. A lot of backcourt pressure. Able to get around it, though. Great job by Willett. That was a middle blocker technique right there. That was two hands up.
Two hands and
read
pushing it straight down, right?
Yeah, read the eyes of your opponent. Assist that time by John Armstrong.
John Armstrong is the faculty mentor for the women's basketball team.
I saw that. I like the faculty mentors being assigned from volunteers for all of our athletic teams. Great to see the faculty support of athletics here at Southern Virginia. And there may have been a kick on that one. Pretty sure. So Meredith Willett has gone from middle blocker of the volleyball team to kickball star. Also playing a little bit of basketball.
Oh, long three.
The three ball not being kind to either team so far in this game. Gamby wisely pulls it out. Oh, Hartvigsen thought about taking a very long one. Oh, I don't know about that.
Anytime you got a couple stutters and things start to slide around, Kramer would have been great just on up fake and then go.
Yep. So the travel called on Kramer.
And both teams becoming very stagnant now. And it's not so much the stalwartness of the defense that's causing both teams to go stagnant.
No.
Oh,
and the shot
they're going to have to find her. 15 points in the first 20 minutes or 15 minutes of the game.
And the pass airmailed. And it's coming back the way of the Bobcats.
And I am 100% sure this is not the way that the Knights had envisaged this game starting.
No. Well, and not only that, if I recall, the Knights had 17 points at the end of the first quarter. And so, they've scored four points in the last 5 minutes. It's tough to win a ball game.
Well, the Knights have stopped going back inside. Why? Because you have Windsor sitting on the bench.
Yeah. And the basket, good. Meredith Willett finding the basket. She's got 4 now, but still off to the races.
And that'll be a foul on Willett.
Right back at the other end.
And I know players like to play, but when you're playing 3 games in 5 days, your legs are just gone. Your body will not respond the way that you want.
First free throw is good. Bryce Papp, I believe that's her first point of the game.
Got her for her first point. So she's doubly in the book now.
Yep.
A point and a foul.
Off on that one. Rebound gathered by Kramer. Dangerous pass. Fields was looking for it. Willett for 3. No. Fields with the rebound. And the look ahead, this right side very popular for the Bobcats on a assault path. Coming back. Willett out ahead. Shot by Gambino, good. And it'll stay here. Last touch by the Bobcats.
And both teams looking very tired now, Art. You can see Willett's face, you can see McFarland's face.
Well, and you have to wonder then, Wilcox coming in now, the Knights really not using the length of that bench to substitute and keep fresh legs in. Gamby's shot short. And once again, up this right sideline to Bryce Papp seems to be the recipe.
Oh, nice bounce pass. And the foul. This is falling apart now.
Kramer gets called for the foul. I believe that's her first. That will send Amber Downey to the line. She just got her first points a little while ago, now at 4.
And here's the problem with the press. Once you get behind with the press, then you have to keep on going with it in order to make up. And the other team, the opposition, has already figured out how to break it.
I think that's generally true, but I don't know that that's in this game. Like you said, they don't have an offensive threat except for, I mean, everybody's a threat when they get out in front of you in the open court. But outside of that, nobody is. I think the Knights could stop this at any time.
If they would stop pressing, just work your way back by banging the ball into the post.
Yeah, stop the bleeding.
Yes. But a lot of coaches and a lot of players, once they start to feel themselves get behind, feel like they have to play faster and faster in order to try to get those points back. There is no such thing as a 10-point shot.
Yep. The Knights have got to start setting up defensively, and they've got to start scoring some points. As obvious as those two things sound, it's all about right now just getting good shots. Wilcox, there we go, drive to the basket. It's been exactly what they did earlier in the game through Windsor. That's worked out for them, and if they can keep that up, and again, it's the pass up the right-hand side. A lot of body contact that time, and
it was fortunate because that would have been the third on McFarland.
Yeah. Gamby finds Kramer. Goes baseline, pulls up.
Fields just lost it out of bounds.
Good defensive pressure, Hartvigsen and McFarland. Good to see Tirado Viscala back in the game. I was really worried when she went down with that knee earlier. She was really looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, pushing on her kneecap. Looked like she was trying to push something back into place.
Yeah. The lead now ballooned to 12. Turnaround jumper, no good. Lots of pressure, and it's going to be on the line. Great job by Gamby to prevent the run out.
They get a new shot clock on that possession by Gamby.
2 minutes here in the second quarter. The Knights going to have to start closing that gap. Good rebound. Hartvigsen tips to Wilcox.
Oh.
And I don't know what happened to Fields at midcourt.
I think she saw the walk, so she was trying to reverse Fields. Fields was trying to reverse Fields.
Right.
Just went down. She and the referee on the other side, though, having a good laugh about it.
Yeah. The expression, you think a stiff breeze had knocked somebody over? Maybe that's what it was. Jump stop for Fields. No good. Fighting for it. And a travel call on Wilcox. Timeout being called by Coach Saunders of Frostburg State. 30 seconds. We are now 8.5 minutes into this quarter, Mike, with 8 points on the board for the Knights.
You know, and in the first quarter, the Knights scored 17 and make it look very easy by going inside. The post players are showing the numbers to the guards. The guards are just hesitant to get it to them. McFarland has a advantage. If Kramer goes inside, she has an advantage. Eads has an advantage. And we know that Windsor had an advantage when she was in, and they've just gone away from it.
They were drawing fouls when they did it as well, which is a huge advantage based on roster length. I've said it I don't know how many times, but there seem to be relatively simple solutions if you're willing to accept them. But if you're not, I don't know that you can win the game without adapting.
Yeah, it's imperative when you have a team that only has about 8 players. It's imperative that you attack the basket as much as possible. Get them in foul trouble. Oh, nice flex cut. No talking on defense.
Rayner now with 17.
Rayner's on to have a terrific game so far. Hopefully the Knights can figure out something in the second half to shut her down.
Good spacing by the Knights. An errant pass by Wilcox, who does a great job getting out in front again, though, and deflecting that pass. Hartvigsen heads out. Now it's going to bring Meredith Willett back in for the Knights. The pressure's back on. Oh, Kramer deflects it.
Old school bank shot.
Hudson, her third and fourth points. Almost a steal from Willett. 19 to shoot. No penetration, though, by the Knights. There Wilcox goes, steps through, no call. 9 seconds to shoot. Willett from three. Nope. And Wilcox tips it out off the hands, I believe, of Frostburg. No.
I was going to stay with him. She came up underneath. And post players got to understand when they grab a rebound, it has to stay up at head level. Anytime you bring it down to the level of the guards, they will get their hands on it.
Especially Shea Wilcox. Running right through that one. 30 seconds left here in the second quarter. Gamby all the way through. Oh, good look. Great job by Gamby. She has really elevated her game as she's looked to become a better assister, Mike.
Yeah.
She's an assister sister. Shea Wilcox with the foul. That will be her first. .15 seconds left here in the quarter. Hartvigsen and Windsor to the line to check in the game. Toronto Vascala.
Again, another risky move. I know it's only 15 seconds left.
Yeah, but
if Windsor picks up an offensive foul now, she
Yeah.
sits on the bench for a long time in the second half.
And the rebound makes a 1-point opportunity, a 2-point opportunity. Downey.
Well, and that's because Windsor couldn't do anything else. She had to almost put her hands in her pockets.
Yep. Gamby tries to come up with something. Nothing. Windsor can't get the shot off. And we're at halftime. A very surprising 27-44, a 10-point second quarter.
Again, I don't know where the Knights offense disappeared to. It's amazing that you have so much success going inside, and then in the second quarter, you don't go inside anymore. I have no explanation for it. I'm sure I could come up with some, but it would not be good.
Yeah, if you look at the trend right now as well, which has really been something that, as we said, the Knights have done well with previously, is they've been able to trend in the right direction as it's gone on. 17 in the first, 10 in the second, whereas Frostburg State 20 in the first, 24 in the second. Neither of those numbers are heading in the direction that you'd like them to.
No, not at all. And we have to look at the turnover numbers that we'll get at halftime. And, you know, the Knights have done a great job of hanging on to the ball the last two games, a great job at shooting threes. No threes have gone in yet. I just don't know what the Knights are looking at right now. Maybe the three games in 5 days has finally caught up to them.
Yeah, it's something, hopefully something they can rectify here in the locker room at the half. And now we're going to break away. Stick around, folks. Right now we have a performance by the Southern Virginia Dance Company, after which we'll break away for about another 10 minutes and be back for the second half of the Southern Virginia Knights versus the Frostburg State Bobcats. Stick around, folks. Welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the Southern Virginia Knights women's basketball team hosting the Bobcats of Frostburg State University. The Knights hung on pretty well in the first quarter, trailing 17-20 there at the end. But in the second, things got a lot worse, now leading to 27-44 at the half. Mike, we had some stats that come in across at halftime. A couple that jump out. First of all, no one's made a three-pointer, and not for lack of trying.
Yes.
0 for 4 for Frostburg, 0 for 5 for the Knights. But there was another key statistic that jumped out at you.
Well, look at the free throw percentages and the disparity. 12 of 15 for the Bobcats, 3 of 3 for the Knights. And then we look at points off of turnovers. 18 points off of turnovers for the Bobcats, only 6 for the Knights. The Knights turned the ball over 16 times, so the Bobcats are getting over a point per possession on that, and that's just hard to come back from.
Yeah, well, and also shooting 100% from the free throw line is great, but if you're only shooting 3,
and with the players the Knights have, they should be attacking the basket.
Yeah, get to the line more. Gamby with the steal, but only for a moment.
And again, Windsor's back in. 3 fouls. Hopefully she's will be able to play with her hands in.
Yeah, she's got to still apply some pressure. She has to do what she does, or there's no point in having her on the court. But she's got to be able to do it without fouling.
Well, and the good thing for the Knights with that is there's no real post presence for the Bobcats, so Shelby can just kind of roam into the lane free on defense.
Gamby's pass deflected, giving another opportunity for the Bobcats. Still no threes made, and a jump ball.
Go over to the Knights. But again, as we talked about in the first half, the Bobcats' offense really is non-existent if they don't get something going toward the basket very early in the shot clock.
Yeah, they've scored in transition when they've had numbers. They've scored in transitions when they've had open shots, but that's really the best of it. Windsor connecting. She's got 11 for the Knights, almost double what anybody else on this Knight squad has. She's very, very important. That basket good on a run out. The Knights back on offense. Hartvigs into Windsor. And that one tipped away, and Fields comes up with the steal. She again has just been sniffing those out, and there's going to be a foul
on McFarland. That's 3 on her. And again, Art, you've seen the Knights. The fans out there have seen the Knights. Oh, on 31.
Yeah, that's McFarland.
Yeah, that
they
should
show
be her third.
They show one. I showed it as her second.
Oh, you're.
So you've got 3. I've got 2. The book has 1. So we'll see what it is foul-wise for her. But
yeah, we'll have someone look in the official book. But at halftime, she had 2.
And 2 plus 1 is 3. Southern Virginia now featuring a math major. Just announced the other day.
And
so we can
Dr. Kraut is excited.
Allows us to solve complex problems like that. Windsor, I think, afraid to be too aggressive that time picking up the foul, so she didn't create contact and resulted in a difficult shot and a run right down the lane that time. Kirsten Rayner is just not being stopped. And that scoop shot by Gamby, like I said, I saw it in pregame. It's not a coincidence. Great job by Windsor to stop and not draw a foul on there. And the air ball, and then the double dribble.
Again, the Knights spending so much energy now trying to come back. 3 games in 5 days. I just don't know if their legs are going to sustain them. We're hoping so, because this would help them in an initial push to try to get that 6th spot in the Capital Athletic Conference tournament.
And McFarland lets it fly. She's got 8 now. The Knights cut it to 15, but they continue this press. And off the foot, Gamby comes up with it, and then the immediate foul the other way. Fields, just her second. She's been a big contributor on the defensive end. I believe she's got 5 steals now. She's done very, very well. Going inside to Windsor. Gamby now on the drive. And just taken away. And running out by Young. And this time just taken right back by Gamby. Giving as good as she gets. And just loses control, able to dial back.
And so it's a wash on both ends.
It is.
With time running down.
No one seems to want that rebound. Kramer then gets it and just kind of hurdles it up.
Foul on Young. That's her 3rd.
It is. That's very big news for the Knights.
Very big. Very advantageous for the Knights, so to speak, because we've seen number 23, Amber Downey, come in and have 9 points.
It's only advantageous if they keep it up and continue to draw more. First free throw is good for Kramer, her first basket of the game. As you mentioned, Amber Downey has been quite effective in her own right.
So we're right back to where we started from with a 14-point lead for the Bobcats. And under now, 13-point lead for them.
Down substantially now from the 17-point lead there was at the half. Numbers. Windsor gets out in front, hurdles it back. Gamby finds McFarland in step, and the layup is good. The Knights starting to cut into this lead.
Double dribble. Oh, and they're going to get a foul on Gamby.
Oh. And the crowd was getting excited. The players were getting excited after back-to-back baskets, and then deflated a bit by the foul by Gamby. Good job. The Knights collapsing. Fields lobs ahead. And a little helter-skelter. and a travel. The Knights' pressure starting to cause some problems for the Bobcats. And that's going to bring in Jasmine Tirado-Vizcala. The lead is 11. The chance to see single digits for the first time since well before the half. Mike, the Knights have scored 10 points, 13
and
points.
The first 3 of the night.
For either team, it goes in for Kramer, and the pressure continues. I was just saying now, 4 minutes into this third quarter, the Knights have scored more than they did in the entire second quarter. No good. Windsor with the rebound. The lead is 8. Can the Knights cut it even more? Going the other way. Gamby really struggling with her ball control.
And she gets going a little bit too fast. If she could just dial it back a little bit, stay under control, she'd have great lanes to the basket.
This may inadvertently favor the Knights. They have a minute to get back and set up defense, but not quite enough. Tipping it around. Windsor comes up with it, and McFarland very wisely slows it down. Working the ball around. Hartvigsen trying to find Windsor. She does. And it'll stay here. New life, Mike.
Yeah,
I mean,
and one of the more important things, Rayner has not really had any say in this first 5 minutes. She's not been able to touch the ball.
Yeah. Got to get it in, and does. McFarland, turn around, got it. 12 points now for McFarland, leading the way for the Knights, and the lead is 6. Windsor able to gather, goes ahead. And a slick move that time, full on breaking the goal while we're at it.
Break the goal.
By this comeback, they're fighting more, they're looking for rebounds, they're not giving up on plays the way they did in the second quarter.
Yeah, like you said, the Bobcats really look out of sync, not attacking the paint, which is great news for the Knights. Any kind of errant shot that goes up, the Knights are rebounding. We didn't see that in the first half. 50-50 balls are going the Bobcats' ways, so this is great news for the Knights.
Bobcats get it across the timeline, and it's going the other way. Tirado-Vizcala just loses possession.
Well, I think she got hit a little bit by Shelby Windsor. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
Great job of Shelby to disguise that.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mike. Hartvigsen, dangerous pass. Speaking of dangerous passes, and that one's going to go against Kramer. For a second, I thought they were going to call a held ball. It was seemed to both have a good grip on it, but the Knights not so fortunate.
Kind of like football. Usually the inside receiver gets the call. So
hard move down the lane that time by Fields. The lead to 8. Willette back in as well. Skip pass. Just too strong on the 3. And it's going the way of the Bobcats. The Knights have really been streaky and emotional. They've got to take the last couple of possessions that haven't gone their way and not let it get to them and just keep playing their game. That's not what we're talking about.
And there's Rayner again, and as soon as she touches the ball, a score.
Yeah, just a breakdown defensively there. Skip again, Kramer. Hits for 3. 8 points, including 2 3-pointers. The Knights applying pressure again. Pressure broken. And a kick.
And a foul, I think.
Well, it looked like a kick.
Oh, hallelujah. He pointed it at Shelby.
It was a kick. It was a kick. If it's a foul, it's because if it's a foul, it's because he was signifying he kicked her.
The ball, right? Oh.
Turnaround jumper is good, just as Young is back in the game. And I have to imagine Young and Windsor are going to be gunning for each other a little bit, trying to accrue some fouls. Windsor, top of the key, got it. Showing a little bit of range. Bobcats get out over the pressure quickly. Gerardo Viscala down the lane. Rims out. Rebound by Windsor. Gambee to Willette. The lead at 7. Willette drives. Blocked or passed to Windsor? I don't know. And speaking of fishing for fouls, there's one on Young. 4 fouls on Courtney Young still here in the third quarter. On the other end, Downey only has 1. The Knights with a lot of fouls, certainly.
But they have a lot of people to accrue those fouls.
Exactly. Windsor hits the first free throw, now with 14. That will send Young to the bench. And Carrie Hudson back in. Looking at the stats so far, that's a good trade for the Knights. Windsor, a very good free throw shooter for her size, and will now get a breather as well.
Well, we've seen over the season, Windsor doesn't really like to play with her back to the basket so much. She likes to face up.
And Gambee takes it away. Gives to Kramer. And it'll stay here as the lead is 5. Two and a half minutes, and I'll tell you, the Frostburg bench looks a lot less elated than they did in the first half. Willette, and it's staying here.
Well, we saw in that first half, or the second quarter especially, where the Knights only scored 4 points in like 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're starting to make shots, and it breathes life into every other aspect of the game.
Absolutely. And foul going up. It's attacking the basket, Mike. It's exactly what we were talking about. Fields called for the foul. I think that's her third. She's not done a ton in the stat book, but has had a big impact in this game.
And she's one of their primary ball handlers.
She's been really breaking the Knights' offense as well. A lot of steals, a lot of pressure. The lead down to 4. Three. Pressure really ramping up now on the Bobcats. Gambee jumps out in front. It's going to be a foul. So lest we forget as well, you know, we're talking about Courtney Young having 4 fouls, Cachet Fields with 3. Assuming, you know, if we get to the point where the 2 of them foul out, there's 1 sub left.
There's 1 sub left.
They're only running 8 people for the Bobcats.
And if another person fouls out, then there's 4.
You can legally play with 4, can't you?
You have to start with at least 5 on the floor, but you can finish with as few as 1. But it's really hard to throw the ball into yourself.
It's true. Lead down to 3. Windsor, oh, and a travel. It is a travel. The Knights, unbelievably, trailing by 17 at the half, could tie the game on this possession. They have scored 24 points in this quarter. McFarland saves it. Baseline jumper no good. Windsor collects the rebound. Willette to save it. Does. Hartvigsen to Windsor, who drives. Got it.
There is nobody out there really that can match up with Windsor.
No.
You got Rayner trying to.
What a
Just
rally.
keep going inside.
Lots of pressure, no fouls has got to be the call right now. They do get up. Numbers 2 on 3, and just too easy. The basket that time for Carrie Hudson. Offense is working. Defense, they've got to get some stops. And a foul called. That one going on Carrie Hudson, her second. McFarland will shoot 2. No good on the first free throw. Nicole Muse will come in, her first minutes of the game. I'm actually kind of glad she missed that, because if she makes this, I have a really interesting statistic. The Knights have now scored as many points in the third quarter as they scored in the first half. 27 in the third quarter, 27 in the first half. And coming up with the steal there, Willette looks ahead. Willette drives, got it! And we have a tie basketball game, folks. And that one...
Why would you ever throw that to your center?
Woo. The Bobcats really trying to play quickly now. They cannot hold for the last shot. There's a 5-second differential. Good move. No good. The Bobcats will have it. Kimberly Eads will come in for Windsor. Smart substitution. Don't risk picking up the foul. And great job. Windsor has had 3 fouls this entire half. Has played some quality minutes and not picked up a 4th. Very impressive play by her. That'll bring Wilcox in as well to give Kramer a
Young
break.
has only been in for about a minute, so there's nobody else in the Bobcat lineup that can put any pressure on Shelby defensively.
Great job by Eads matching up. And the shot clock is off. Bodies on the deck, and a traveling violation is the call. 10 seconds on the clock. The Knights could get the last shot of this quarter and could come from 17 down at the half to take the lead in the third quarter. Wow.
And it all has to do with making shots.
Willette fakes the lob. Goes back, Nicole Muse.
And she walks.
And it's going to come back. So now
the Bobcats have a chance to get a last shot.
Now the Knights hoping to come back to tie at the end of the third quarter after being down 17. Just hold it. Just hold it. What an unbelievable third quarter. So the Knights hold the Bobcats to 12 points in the third quarter, which is almost half of what they scored now. 20 in the first, 24 in the second, 12 in the third. Meanwhile, going crazy and putting up 29 of their own, more than either team has scored in any quarter so far. That if you'd have told me at the beginning of the third quarter was going to put up 12 points and one team was going to put up 29, I'd say, man, that really stinks, because the game's just gotten away from us then. I would not have believed that it was the reversal of fortune.
Well, the big deal is the Knights going inside. Look at Kramer, look at McFarland, and look at...
I don't know how many times I've said it. It's what we said from the very beginning. They have a short roster. Get some people in foul trouble. They've got, they can't afford to foul you if you go inside. Create contact inside. Drive lane. It's not a complex formula. We talk about Katie Durant in being frustrated with an A- in organic chemistry. Those are complicated formulas. This isn't. It's pretty straightforward, and the Knights able to do exactly that, exactly what they needed to climb back in this one. Wildly improbable, but here we are.
Well, again, the formula, keep going inside.
Yeah.
Feed Windsor. Feed McFarland, and if Kramer is open at three-point line, she's hit 2 in a row, let her have it.
It's working. That shot well off the mark. May have been deflected, maybe not. The refs say no.
Well, that's where you want Downey shooting from, is outside the lane.
Yep. Hartvigsen now. Oh, a little bit of a miscommunication there. Hartvigson's looking to find Windsor at the top of the key. She thought she was supposed to cut to the basket.
You know, and now the Bobcats came into this game the severe underdogs. Haven't won a conference game yet. The Knights feeling the pressure, I'm sure, in the first half. Now, with the pressure going back onto the Bobcats, having the lead, losing it now, and Gamby could put them ahead.
And she does. The Knights take the lead for the first time since about halfway through the first quarter. And then don't stop the ball at the other end, but McFarland comes away with it. Fortunate layup. Well, and after the errant pass at this end 2 possessions ago, you know, the Knights were smiling. Windsor, it's saved that time by Frostburg. And the save and the shot, Autumn Kramer. You know, the Knights are smiling. They're having a good time. Full timeout called by Coach Saunders. And you can do that, you know. When you're coming back, when things are going well, and an errant pass is, okay, my bad, and you kind of laugh it off. When you're down 15, it's,
here we go.
Well, I guess here we are. This is what we're resigned to. But there's a lot to be said for having fun, and the Knights are just having some fun in this game right now.
Well, again, there's 2 different camps when you talk about basketball coaches. The defensive coaches and the offensive coaches. Yes, defense travels with you, and you can have success with defense. But if you cannot score, your kids aren't going to have fun. You're not going to win any games because you're always being outscored. So offensively, seeing the ball go into the basket on a consistent basis makes every other part of your game so much better.
Well, and I think you're absolutely right. I think that's exactly what's happened in this game is as the Knights have scored offensively, they've felt better. They've had more fun. They've been able to come out and be willing to be more aggressive and be more energized and put in the effort. And it's certainly paying off now. Up 4. And a turnover. Kramer, no good. Ball's on the deck. Kramer again. Hartvigsson.
Give it to her. There you go.
No good, but a fair number of possessions on that. Some good opportunities. Windsor. That was an unrecommended situation, I think.
Yeah.
You give up the basket.
Yeah, Shelby just has to stand there, be an obstacle in front of her.
Yep.
That's a tough enough shot as you got someone that's about 5'4", 5'5", trying to shoot over someone 6'1".
And now that takes away the mismatch the Knights had because both Courtney Young for the Bobcats and Windsor for the Knights are on the bench. The Knights able to do a lot of work with Windsor while Young was on the bench.
Yeah, but you still got McFarland inside, and still there's nobody really that can stay with her.
True. Both free throws missed as well. Both teams have been shooting well from the free throw line really up until that point. 10 seconds to shoot. Hartvigsson, baseline to Willette. No. Long look ahead.
There's the leak outs again.
And what do? Uncontested, essentially, by Downey. Kramer did the best she could, but against those 2-on-1. Deflected there. And a run out. No one is getting back for the Knights.
Blown layup, though, by the Bobcats. Again, in women's basketball, you got to work on layups and free throws consistently.
3 seconds in the lane, the call. Very scary, though. The Knights starting to slip back into the practices that caused that huge deficit to mount. Hard look inside, and a travel. Shuffling of the feet, I suppose. Bryce Papp to inbound. And she does. Tipped by Gamby, but not enough to stop it. And an outside look to Fields, no good. High percentage shot, just did not go in.
The shots that were going down for him in the first half, right there in the lane, so easily are becoming so difficult now for him.
Well,
And again, this is what happens to a team that is 0-14.
Well, also 25, 30 minutes later. Armbar, the call on Fields.
That'll
now
be
she's got 4. The game is close as it is. Were this to go to overtime, the war of attrition definitely favors the Knights. Knights to inbound.
Well, if both Fields and Young sit on the bench at any point, then the Bobcats have no hope.
That foul called on Bryce Papp, her second. Good clarification. Alana Roy had been charged with the foul in the book, which she has not played in this game. She's
and
injured.
I don't even think she's dressed.
Well, what's that got to do with anything?
Well,
you can't foul somebody.
I had someone get a rebound that wasn't dressed one day.
Wow.
The stats people put them in.
McFarland.
Oh,
Kramer,
nice.
good fake. Maybe a little too much passing, but it works out. Willette. And the press is back on. And stolen, but fouled.
Get Morgan Harpison, and anytime you reach across somebody's body.
Yep. Hartvigsen called for the third.
So tempting, but you have to understand that unless the ball is on your side.
So go ahead.
If you just have to reach across the body, the referees are going to automatically call.
So it's really strange, but I think that actually favored the Knights because they got to set up their defense.
Yeah.
Which, of course, they could always choose to do, but they frequently choose not to because of the press.
Well, or it could work against the Knights.
Ooh! Kramer with the swat. I think that was with the body, though, the foul. We'll see. He said 2 hands, it looked like. I'm not sure, but... So now Gamby, Hartvigsen, Kramer, McFarland, all with 3, Windsor with 4. But the way Frostburg's free throw shooting has gone cold, this might not be a bad strategy.
All their shooting's gone so cold. I mean, I just let them go ahead and shoot the ball.
Sure.
They've missed the last 4 shots.
Oh, you're right. They've been cold. They were doing quite well from the free throw line in the first half, though. Now the lead 3, very tenuous. It's been close this entire quarter. Neither team really asserting dominance just yet. Kramer, shot fake, gives to Willette, who comes up with it. Shot fake by Kramer again, blocked from behind. And the Knights will maintain possession.
Young, fortunate, didn't get called on the foul there. She came across on the backside on Kramer.
The ball goes rolling under the bleachers.
Morgan's used to chasing them down.
Yep.
Has no fear of anything underneath the bleachers.
Inbound, 8 seconds to shoot. Kramer, short. Willette comes flying across the lane for the rebound. Pulls up the jumper, got it. Just came out of nowhere to grab that one. The lead now 5, the largest the Knights have enjoyed in a long time. That one deflected, calling it a kick. I think it was a thigh.
It went off Morgan's knee, but anytime you have the motion of a kick and it goes off your leg.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
it just goes back set up the defense.
It gives them a chance to set up the defense and force them to shoot from the outside.
That is Courtney Young, who's back on the floor, who traveled, excuse me. Little conversation going on. You can tell the Bobcat players a little frustrated with each other. The Coach Saunders having a little conversation with the referee about was there a foul, and the answer was yes, but after the travel.
Errant pass there on the high-low, looking to try to invert the offense, going to Willette on the inside.
John Armstrong getting a lot of touches today as well. Good to see him over there he's supporting the team. He can ball. I've played with him.
Trying to get a little bit of exercise in after a hard day of standing behind the podium lecturing.
Losing control and going the other way, Tirado Viscala.
And it wouldn't be bad for the Knights to start working the clock.
No, it would not. McFarland able to complete that after it's deflected. And the quick basket, the lead is 7.
Well, if the Knights would just go ahead now, run some clock, look for the high-low, go to McFarland on the inside. There's no one that can stay with her. She can jump over a smaller player. She can go around a bigger player. And with Windsor sitting out, that is your best bet right now.
Absolutely. It's been what's worked. If you were to take this game apart, it's basically been two styles of play. It's been we go inside and we attack, and we go up by crazy amounts of points. We don't. We try to shoot from the outside, and we play this pressure defense, and we get run out of the building. By choosing what you do, by choosing the cause, you choose the effect. And that's what's happening right now.
And you go back to the old axiom, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And speaking of not broke, the Bobcats, unless I'm wrong, have scored 3 points in the first 5 minutes of this half. I mean, the Knights have scored 10, which is great by comparison.
Yes.
It's not the pace that they were doing in the third quarter, but guess what? 10-3, when you're tied at the beginning of the quarter, that wins basketball games.
So long passes now don't need to be made by the Knights. They need to be sure with the ball, run the clock for at least 15 seconds, then find that high-low, especially with McFarland on the low part.
We also have Fields and Young still in the game for the Bobcats, both with 4 fouls apiece. Fields now with the ball, drives, no good. Hartvigsen able to get around, finds Gamby, and deflected, but no foul. Pap able to block the shot. And that's going to bring Windsor back to the scorer's table.
Okay, here comes the bread and butter now.
It will be very interesting to see whether Windsor or Young stay in this game longer, because I bet you anything, by 3:32, one of them's going to be out of this game.
Well, right now, McFarland needs to get the ball up around the top of the key, get it into Windsor on a high-low look.
Willett receives the inbound.
There she is. Give her the ball. Give her the ball.
Good defensive pressure by Young.
Go.
Willett able to clean it up.
Anytime you go inside, something good's going to happen.
The lead is 9. Still no three-pointers for Florida State. Frostburg State this entire game. Willett over the top. Gamby now. Windsor on the drive. Too strong. Knights will maintain possession.
9 seconds on the shot clock.
It's going to bring Tirado Viscala out. Hudson in. And that'll also bring Autumn Kramer to the scorer's table to check in, and she'll get in immediately for Meredith Willett. Nine to shoot.
Well, Art, I don't think the Bobcats want to play a foul game at the end of the game. So the game gets under 3 minutes. You're looking at a 3 or 4 possession game if the Knights just run the shot clock.
And that's exactly what they should do. And a travel again. That's the second one in the last little while on Courtney Young. Center's not typically known for their ball handling skills, and she's been catching it outside that paint area and trying to dribble into it. Hartvigsen drives, dumps off. Basket is good for McFarland. We've passed 3:32, by the way. Both centers still in it. Long pass ahead to Young. No good. She's been popping threes recently, trying to climb back into this one.
And all that does really is put them down further.
And the Knights are now doing to the Bobcats what the Bobcats did to the Knights earlier. And just getting out ahead on offense. And that, Meredith Willett checking in. And the lead now 13 with 3 minutes left. The lob ahead. McFarland catches it in route and delivers. And this has become a one-sided contest. And now Windsor comes up with it again. The wheels are just coming off. Gamby makes the layup.
Well, like you said, Art, just a few seconds ago, it's the total reverse of the first half.
It's exactly reverse. The Knights are now up 17
as the
Bobcats were.
Are feeling like they have to do more and more and more, try to catch up, and so they're just throwing shots up. The Knights getting great shots, especially inside the lane.
And a high-arcing shot that time, Bryce Papp, and I believe that's the first 3 of the game for Frostburg State, though it may have come a bit too late. Good look ahead. Larissa McFarland is just, she's playing X for football and just she's streaking every time. And just getting touchdown after touchdown. She's getting behind the back defender every single time. 16 the lead. And 2 in a row that time for Pap. Is that a 3, Mike?
I didn't see the signal.
Don't think it's going to matter much. The foul at this end. And that's Rayner, who just gets her first foul of this game. And what a tale of 2 halves.
Yep.
Just staggering. 9 points in this fourth quarter so far for the Bobcats, as Gamby makes the first. We have Muse, Siegmiller, Eads, and Scott checking in for the Knights to shore this one up. I don't know what to say, Mike. This is stunning. Gamby makes them both. And that'll bring in Shea Wilcox.
Again, when you make shots, that's all you have to do is just make shots. It puts pressure on the other team.
And an errant pass. And Frostburg State's just very, very out of sorts.
Again, this is one of the games that the Knights had to and should win.
And they look like at this point they're certainly going to. Muse for 3. No good. Under a minute to play. Oh, good adjustment. Great box out by Eads.
Those were the shots that were going in the first half.
Yep. Wilcox able to get it across the timeline. The Knights should hold. And Rayner all of a sudden realized she's allowed 5 fouls in this game before she gets thrown out. Is going to get her money's worth out of a couple.
Well, 30 seconds to go even. The Knights in a show of class should just hold on to the ball.
Absolutely. Get the inbound, no shot. Should not take a shot. Should really, really not take a shot. Basket's good by Eads. It's going to be a foul, I believe, on Alexis Scott.
She wanted to make sure that she's in the game.
She's in the book, yeah. .2 left on the clock. And I completely agree with you, Mike. The Knights should not have taken a shot on that possession. However, if this is the final score, which I was going to say it looks like it's going to be, but now may all of a sudden not be. Siegmiller called for it. She's got to get booked as well. Then it would be the Knights trailing by 17 at the half and winning by 17 at the end. I like numbers. But it is not to be. Courtney Young hits the first free throw. No good on the second.
Oh, we're going to have 2 shots coming down here, so it could be.
It could be.
Or it could be 18, right?
Yeah, we'll see. I didn't catch the number on that.
It was on Rayner.
Definitely
21.
getting. So she's got 3 fouls in the last minute and a half. Oh, she's got to make this one now. It would make the 17-point prophecy come through. And she does. Eads gets her 5th point. And in just an absolute absurd turn of events, I don't know any other way to say it, the Knights go from trailing by 17 at the half to winning the game by 17. And we talked about trends, Mike. The scores by quarters for the Knights: 17-10, 29-26. The score by quarters for the Bobcats: 20-24, 12-10. I don't even know what to say.
Well, here's some things that we talked about earlier. The Bobcats, 0-14 in conference play. Don't know how to play with a lead, right? The Knights have been down before, understand what they're supposed to do, but did it much better tonight on the offensive side than they did any other time.
Well, like I said, I don't know what to say, so we've got Larissa McFarland here. Maybe she does.
It's falling off my head. There we go. Got it.
Well, welcome back, Larissa.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so tell us, how are you feeling after playing 3 games in 5 days?
I'm a little tired.
A little bit tired? And we noticed that a little bit more in the first half.
Yeah.
Everybody's tired, but in the second half, some people will say it was the defense that ratcheted up and got things going, but we noticed over here that you made a consistent effort as a team to go inside, go inside, go inside. Was that something that was in the game plan because you knew that the Bobcats really didn't have anybody to contend with you or Windsor?
Yeah, we just weren't executing that well in the first half, and that's basically what we went into the locker room. We got our butts chewed out and got told, hey, you got to get it in there because that's the only place we're making anything happen. So we just started executing that a lot better the second half, I think.
Well, and it seems like every time that y'all do execute offensively and you get 2 or 3 baskets go in, that things start to run a little bit better for you.
Definitely.
So, hopefully on Saturday we see great offensive execution from the beginning of the game to the end, right?
Yes, definitely. And that's the thing is when we do execute offensively, we do make the basket. It makes it easier for us to set up our presses and things that we like to do. So if we're missing on those and they get on the run and it gets all messed up. But yeah, exactly. So that's the idea. Execute.
Well, now you've played the 2 games that you looked on the schedule and say, hey, we're going to win those games. Penn State, Harrisburg, they won here, but we all knew that you should have won. And then coming back with the Bobcats here. Now you have Salisbury coming up.
Yeah.
Big game because mathematically you're still in it to get that 6th spot. They're one of the ones that if you can beat them here, that kind of puts you almost in the driver's seat against Wesley and against St. Mary's, depending on how they do. So
right. How
big a game is Saturday for you?
It's a big one, and considering it's my last game here at
I wasn't going to bring that up because I didn't want you to start crying
I know.
on me.
I won't today. I know Saturday it's going to be a big thing, but I think there's a lot of fire in our belly too because we got killed by them the first time we played them. So it's a team that if we do come out, we execute well offensively, we stay low on defense and really try to shut down some of their kids who make all their points, we could give them a run for their money, and I'm really excited for that, and I'm excited to see what we make happen on Saturday. So. Well,
we've enjoyed the past couple of years watching you play. Don't know if we're going to be able to talk to you on Saturday or not because of the emotion of the game and the very end. I understand how that is, being your last game and all. So we just wanted to thank you for some great, wonderful moments and just wish you good luck on the rest of the season. And not only that, but after you go on, I know that you'll be here for another year with your husband going to graduate. So maybe we can get you to come in and do some commentating with us, give us a third wheel, or maybe I can just get out of the way and you and Art will be a great tandem.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But we've enjoyed it, and thank you very much, and good luck, and go have a good time with your team and get ready for Saturday.
Thank you so much, Coach Harmon.
All right. Well, here we are back. A tremendous turnaround. The final score, 83-66 for the Knights. Larissa McFarland leading the way, the senior. 11 of 20 from the field, ended up with 23 points. Shelby Windsor with 17. I think the big key, though, was they started hitting shots, but also limited shots to Rayner, who had 19 points in the first half, 2 points in the second half.
Yeah, there's another huge statistic as well, Mike. If you look at the turnovers at the half, the Knights were way down. They actually finished the game with fewer turnovers than Frostburg State. When the wheels started coming off, they flew off. And as soon as the Knights started coming back, I think you really nailed it with Frostburg not knowing how to play with a lead, because as soon as they felt that pressure, it was done. Offensively, defensively, everything. You could tell the players themselves seemed really frustrated with each other, and it started showing in their play. So with that, we're going to break away. Your final score, the Southern Virginia Knights coming back 83-66, a 17-point win after being down 17 at the half to knock off the Frostburg State Bobcats. Stick around, folks. In about 25 minutes, we'll have tip-off of the second game of our doubleheader. The Southern Virginia men's team trying to do the same thing, knocking off Frostburg Bobcats men's team. Like I said, final score 83-66. Stick around. We'll be back in about 20 minutes.